So if you look at this, you can see how stupid it all is. How they don't want you to think about anything serious. It's sport and celebrity and trivia and simplistic view of the world. Ex-Russian colonel blames Putin. You know, white thong swimsuit. Of course, she's probably also complaining about the objectification of women while hanging out her tits, you know. I mean, the double standards in all this is just incredible. Can't people see it? I mean, when people see this, don't they ask themselves, you know, what are they trying to push here? I mean, it's not rocket science, cliche time, but cost of living, I mean, sadness. And they always tell you the conclusions. They give you the conclusion in EU deals UK are below. Look at them. I mean, come on, they're all wearing identical. I mean, this is probably paid for by the government. I mean, these people may be going backwards and forwards. They want you to think, and of course it's true, that there's no border control. Look at these people. They're all wearing exactly the same outfits. Who took the picture? Can't people see? And look, there's a boat here pretending to intercept them, but there's a boat behind here just so happened to be around to take the photograph. The EU is not willing to negotiate returns agreement. What do you mean not willing? These people came from the EU, they should go back. And why are they leaving the EU? Because the EU is great, isn't it? The EU is fantastic. Why would they want to leave the EU and go to a non-EU country? Can somebody explain to me, please? Can some of these virtue signalling middle class cunts who are destroying our country, could they please explain to me why these people are coming here when we are not in the EU? They should stay in the EU, where they have the wonderful benefits of being in the EU. But better still, they should go back to their countries of origin. If these people are beneficial to us, like we're told they are by the mass media and by the virtue signalers, then they'd also be a benefit to their own countries. Look at them, only men. Lots and lots of young men coming here. Why? What for? Popular snack, all you need to know. Well, maybe they could just tell us on the headline what this popular snack is. And I guess it isn't even very popular. Probably quite unpopular, you know. King Charles, Greta Thunberg. £236 worth of toiletries. They've got an exact number for the amount of toiletries she had to throw away. A trouble influencer. Why is she a trouble influencer? Who is she influencing? If you want to go somewhere, go somewhere. I mean, I don't need some woman to tell me. Why would anyone need £236 worth of toiletries to travel? You might need a small tube of toothpaste, a toothbrush, a bit of shampoo. You wouldn't even need to take them with you, and you could buy them when you arrived. I wouldn't travel with £236 worth of toiletries. An influencer. She's never going to come back to the UK. Great. Well, maybe we can confiscate all the toiletries of these illegal immigrants so they never come back. That would help. Russia. Defraud. Yep. Heartbreaking post. Why is that heartbreaking post? Just tell us what the post is and we will then decide whether it's heartbreaking or bollocks. Okay? Neville. Torn to shred by wolves. It's quite good, that. Wolves. Murdered woman inside her son's room. That's a bit of a shock for mum. I mean, my mum isn't that keen on me, I think, but she's never had the found a murdered woman in a plastic in my room. There you go. Cash in on Wilco's collapse. The billionaire brothers. Wouldn't be surprised if they're Jewish. Let's find out. Simon and Bobby Arora bought the business. Simon. They never did, you know, let's just check. I mean, honestly, I'm guessing. My guess may be wrong. He might be Indian or something like that. British billionaire. Arora. These people are only interested in money. You couldn't have a discussion with them on anything else. And that's the problem. The kind of unmonetizable skills are not valid in our society. Nobody cares if you're intelligent, thoughtful, got common sense. It's all about making money. Simon Arora, you know, he's donated 50,000 to the Conservative Party. That's nice. Well, there he is, Mr. Arora. Aiming to build the new Woolworths. That was 10 years ago. Well, it didn't happen. But, you know, good luck to him. I mean, you know, if you're good at business. These are the skills people value, unfortunately. I mean, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with making money, but why admire people on top of them being rich? I mean, you're rich, that's good. You've got a car, you've got a house, etc., etc. But people just admire these people because they've got money. Not because, you know, on top, I mean, it seems to me it'd be better to admire a poor person who's got principles than a rich person. But people also admire rich people. Like, being rich is like great. You know, being honest doesn't count for nothing. So Simon Arora isn't Jewish, but he might as well be. And we have the Russian spies, suspected Russian spies. Apparently they're Bulgarians. Actually, Bulgarians are actually very pro-Russian overall, although their government isn't. So Bulgarians have always got I mean, Greeks as well, Cypriots, Serbs. There are a number of East European countries that have a pro-Russian history because Russia helped them in the past, for example, against the Ottoman Empire and so on. I mean, I'm not pro anything, actually. I'm just pro common sense. The way things are at the moment, Russia is preferable to the West. It's more traditional, less politically correct. I mean, they don't have this obsession with transgenders and all the rest of it. And also, I think that the West provoked the war in Ukraine. I think it's our fault. We did it. And I think it was a horrible trick on the Ukrainian public. Offer them, they always, in the beginning, they always offer people freebies to suck them in, get them into debt. They did it with Greece, Bulgaria, Romania. None of these Croatians, none of these countries. Well, Italy. I mean, no country. I don't think Germany. I mean, people often say Germany's the beneficiary. I don't think any country has genuinely benefited from being in the EU. I think they've all lost. I think it's the opposite of a win-win. It's a lose-lose for everyone. They've tried to homogenize Europe, not just by moving millions of people around, but by inviting pretty much the whole world to move in as well. You know, I mean, in London, you're just as likely to bump into a Polish person as an English person. How does that work? You know? And most of these immigrants don't particularly like each other. So, you know, they store up, you know, every time there's some coup in Nigeria, shed loads of people turn up at Downing Street to you know, we have to solve the problems of other countries. You know, it just doesn't make any sense. Anyway, this media, I would say that media is always rubbish. Sadiq Khan, to fund another tunnel. Well, how about, I've got an idea. How about just getting people to wait a bit in the Blackwall Tunnel, in order, then you won't have to fund. I mean, a lot of people would rather wait a bit. Can't people use the Blackwall Tunnel instead of using another tunnel? Said he can't. Who gave this Pakistani the right to dictate? I mean, on the other hand, maybe it's a positive sign that they want to build another tunnel, because on the other, you might say, well, it means that cars are still, but they're going to have road charging. I mean, they're not going to. It's like in a lot of parts of London, they used to offer free parking for EVs, and they've taken that away. So what they do is, in the beginning, they offer lots of incentives to get you to take up electric vehicles, free parking, cheap electricity, lower taxes, da-di-da-di-da. Then they praise you for being really, look at me, I'm environmentally friendly. I'm driving this massive electric vehicle imported from China using slave labour, and I'm EV. I've got an electric vehicle. I can hold my head up high in my street. But at the end of the day, all these benefits to try and bribe people into doing their bit for the environment were only short term, and the end result will always be. So for example, at the moment they're doing like the pricing, and in order to take advantage of these fake benefits, you've got to have a smart meter. So they offer you free electricity from time to time in order to get you to get a smart meter. But you can be damn sure that when everyone's got the smart meter, they're going to remove all these benefits. You're being tricked. It's like offering, why do drug dealers offer people free drugs? It's to get them hooked. Why do betting companies offer free bets to new customers? Because they know that a percentage of them will get hooked. And I'm sure the betting companies can easily arrange a win. If you bet 10 quid on your first bet, I wouldn't be surprised if lots of people win. And although that might seem bad for the betting companies, because they don't want winners, they want losers, eventually you're going to try and recover your debts, and people become hooked on it. I mean, if you're in a casino, you don't really know what you're doing. I mean, I think they pump in oxygen, there's no clocks, you don't know whether it's day or night, and you get sucked into the whole gambling thing. I know, because I've had that experience myself years ago. I've been to Vegas and Macau, and it's all quite exciting actually, but unfortunately you're more likely to lose than win, and that's the maths. Look at all this shit. Keir Starmer, what a load of rubbish he is. Today he lives alone in Malibu. Well, I mean, what's wrong with living alone in Malibu? There's nothing wrong with Malibu. I mean, it's in California, but apart from that, there's nothing wrong with it. Woman killed. A suspected stolen fortune in a Maysville in Norfolk. Really? Is this some sort of joke? I'm trying to work out if this is a joke. Oh, come on, this is a fucking joke. How did they do that? Maysville in Norfolk. Look at that. I mean, are they supposed to have driven there and then... No, it's fake, isn't it? There's probably some sort of picture here. The Land Rover again, 32 acre field, that's a 33. 20s and 40s, I'm sure it's not 33. Well, that's unfortunate. A lot of maize. That's an amazing story, isn't it? What do you reckon? Is this true? A police car chase.